Maayong adlaw, ¿cómo está? This is Ben from Ben in Cebu, coming to you from Cordoba, Cebu. So the topic of discussion today is not going to be about my hat. It's going to be about are American standards too high for the Philippines? Okay, so let's just cut right into it. First of all, the hat thing is kind of funny. A few videos back, I had a guy comment about how I dress like an Amish. And the other day I was at the mall and I saw this hat. And my friend said, try it on. And I tried it on. And he's like, oh, that looks good on you. So I bought it. And I went to cut this video and I'm like, man, I look like an Amish. Anyways, so enough of that. I'm at Cafe Mafia getting a ice mocha. Highly recommended. Imported coffee. Delicious. So anyways, I think that, a lot of the men in the West, and I say America in the title, but of course this is applicable to all Western men. Over there we're kind of spoiled, and we come with a sense of privilege. And when we come over to this country, we tend to get kind of shocked by things that that don't compute with our pampered and prestigious ways, right? The fact of the matter is, which is always seems to be totally lost on people that come here and dislike it, this isn't America. Newsflash. This isn't England. This isn't Australia. This is a whole different type of world with a whole different culture and a whole different set of standards or lack thereof. And you should be prepared to adapt accordingly. The problem is that most men can't, don't, and leave with their tail between their legs, disgruntled. And I said most, but there's a lot of us that can adapt, and then there's a lot that can't, that gravitate towards a more plush kind of existence, which they do exist here. And those guys are the ones that hang out in the IT parks and the condos, and they peruse the malls, and that's their whole lifestyle, right? But then you get the guys that have that privileged sense, that go to a more rural area or go to a more grassroots kind of living atmosphere, like me, where I live in the heart of the barangay, amongst Filipinos, and they just lose their minds. They can't deal with any of the differences. And there are a lot of differences. It's all in your mentality, right? When you're living the way that I live, which is amongst the locals, and I live on a shoestring budget, but regardless of your budget, when you're living amongst the locals, you're going to deal with all of those things that people complain about. Chickens, karaoke, traffic noise, you name it. All of those stereotypical things are going to be a part of your life. And unless you choose to live in the concrete jungle, as I refer to it, which is a high-rise condominium or, something similar to that. And of course, you've got your subdivisions that you can go to eradicate most, if not all, of the problems that arise. That is how you can live here without being bombarded with the real true sense of what it's like to live in the Philippines. Because what it's really like to live in the Philippines, if you choose to live amongst Filipinos, which just makes sense to me because you're going to another country. You didn't come here to live with a bunch of foreigners, did you? So since maybe you didn't, I mean, maybe you had the wherewithal to realize that if you're moving to the Philippines, there's not going to be, people that look like you and sound like you and talk like you. I think it's just so silly that, still we have to talk about it. But it's just very telling, how narrow-minded people are over in the West. And maybe it's not so much narrow-minded. Maybe they're just kind of spoiled. or their expectations have been elevated to a point where they can't tolerate and deal with, a more archaic kind of approach that this country tends to have. But that aspect, it can be endearing and it can be frustrating. But it's how you perceive things, right? One guy will see, the chickens and the music and all of these things that everybody complains about that they can't deal with. One guy will see that as a more kind of old-fashioned, comforting kind of life, kind of regressing from all of the falsities and the norms of the states into it's like going back in time, like 30, 40 years back. I mean, in the 70s when I was a kid, I grew up in Portland, Oregon, right? And Portland, Oregon now is a relatively large city with a big population. But in the 70s, I can remember walking to kindergarten and being chased by people's roosters. And hearing those roosters crowing in the neighborhood. I can remember that, right? Most of the major cities in the Philippines will be like similar to that 70s kind of standard of living. Like they'll have a system for their garbage. They'll have a system for their public transportation that is more structured. And things are going to evolve into more what some of you spoiled Westerners could probably tolerate. But let's talk a little bit about the mentality. Okay, like let's be honest. Up in Manila, a friend of mine, vlogger, just recently said in one of his comments to me about the minimum wage up there near Manila, and it's like 600 and something peso a day. That's not the same for elsewhere around the Philippines. Some places are still in the 300s per day peso. Here in Cebu, I think it's 505 pesos is the minimum wage per day, right? So, okay, think about it. If you were working your butt off 6 days a week for 505 pesos a day, and you didn't have the dough to go out on a Friday night and have a fancy dinner and then laze around on Saturday and do yard work and then get up on Sundays and go out for a Sunday brunch or something like that. If you didn't have those options, given your privilege, and you were making, what Filipinos make, wouldn't you grasp at the things that were available to you? Karaoke machines are cheap. They put in on it. Beer is relatively cheap. They all put in on it, right? And then they do their thing and they enjoy life their way and their means. It is a lower paced existence. This is island land, man. They have the mentality of just taking it easier. And we over in the West are rush, 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 go, 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 go. And we get unsettled kind of if we aren't rushing and going and going and going. These guys here, they can't really rush and do everything. What are they going to rush to? All they have is the ability to do simple things for their entertainment. So karaoke, drinking, doing a little bit of gambling, sitting around on the street and laughing and meritessing about everything, These things are a part of their culture because what else are they going to do, right? And we tend to, Westerners tend to criticize and not understand it. But you have to put the shoe on the other foot. And it's like I used to say a lot in my old videos, is you got to turn the lens upon yourself. You know, one time I was in the store, 7-Eleven, and there was this dude. He was buying I don't really remember now. I talked about it before, but he was buying a bottle of water, and the water there, the price on the shelf said, let's say 100, and he got up to the counter and it was 111, and he was ticked, man. He made a big stink and whatever and blah blah blah, and he ended up having to pay the 111 because he wasn't going to get for 100. It's just some clerk standing back there. But he couldn't even adapt to an 11 peso difference, and he tried to perpetuate his "I need to see the manager" mentality to some clerk behind the counter that couldn't probably understand most of what he was saying, and thinking that he was going to put his foot down and make a stand for that 11 pesos, you know? You gotta slow your roll here, man. You gotta ease up. This is a whole different atmosphere, a whole different way of life. And when you blow up like that out there, and you make a stink like that, all they're thinking is you're a jerk. So, Cafe Mafia. So, in conclusion, I tend to think that for the majority of guys that come here, Western or American standards are too high. And you're putting expectations upon a place that those expectations don't exist. So if you're going to come here and try to perpetuate those, you're going to have a terrible time. Terrible time. And of course, as I always say as well, you can live at any level, you know. If these things bother you so much that it's going to put a bad taste in your mouth, well then pay to not be around it. Because you can pay to not be around it and live in the concrete jungle as opposed to this jungle right here. Let me turn the camera around and show you. And this is, you know, going to be all around you. If you can't live in this type of atmosphere, you don't have to. You can pay to live far removed from all of this kind of lifestyle. But to me, why would you want to? I'm sick of the West. And I like the contrast. I like all of the contrast. There are things that irritate me, of course, but then I know that the irritation stems from how I grew up, you know, and the atmosphere that I lived in, you know. Does that make my atmosphere that I lived in correct, right? The be-all, end-all that everybody needs to try to adhere to and strive for? Who knows, right? But these people here aren't striving for that necessarily, because they don't know. Not only do they don't know how, they don't understand it, and they don't have the ability to right now, anyways. But they will in the future, and that can be a good thing or a bad thing. So that's all I got to say about that, you guys. Thank you for watching. I appreciate, all of your engagement, your comments, and your subscriptions. I busted out over 100 subscribers from one video. That was fantastic, and I appreciate it. So all you new guys that I'm new to, people that have found me from my old channel, welcome, and stay tuned for more of my ridiculous rants and ramblings. So peace out, and have a blessed day.